So welcome back, guys. In today's video, I'll be speaking to you about a very important principle that is applied in the sales industry. But before I jump into that principle, I'd love to give a shout out and a takeaway on my summer holiday, which I went to last month in Switzerland. Basically, it's an area which I got this mug from called Chamonix. It's on the border between France and Switzerland, where they have the telepheric that goes all the way up to 4,000 meters above sea level to the highest peak in Europe, mountain, which is called the Mont Blanc. It was an amazing view. You know, I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay there and even go further, but at that time it was a bit windy, so they only let us go a bit halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through. So definitely it is a souvenir which I will add into my souvenir collections. I've got a whole board of magnets and also a couple of different glass souvenir covers which I collect as memories from the different holidays and trips that I travel into. So jumping back to the video of how to sell anything to anyone, the main principle I'll speak about in this video is your inner world, which is between your two ears. Now there are two sections to it, your inner world and your outer world. Now the outer world is simply just a reflection of your inner world. It is what happens after you set the tone of your inner world. So everything happens in here, in your inner world, before you go and take action into the outer world. So the most important things do happen in your inner world before you need to worry about your outer world. If your inner world is all set and clear and good, then, you know, by default your outer world will reap its results. So the outer world is a place where you execute your inner world in order to get the results. There are 5 main sections of the inner world which I'll be speaking to you in today's video. Now don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't done yet, in order to watch more of my weekly videos. First of all, I'd like to speak to you about your state inside the inner world. Your state is simply just how you manage your emotional state. So it ties on to the 4 main C's: your confidence, your courage, your certainty, and how clear you are, clarity. So confidence, certainty, courage, and clarity, the 4 main C's. You see, sales is simply nothing but a transfer of emotions. So the more certain you are as a sales guy, the stronger and more clear the emotional transfer that will happen from you to your end user. The more certain you are that your product will solve their problem, the faster they will buy into you. Second of all, beliefs. Beliefs are tied into 2 main sections: your limiting beliefs and your unlimiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs is what is holding us back. It simply is, I am too old, I'm too young, I'm too white, I'm too black, I'm uneducated, I'm a middle class person, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. All these small thoughts and voices we tell ourselves that are stopping us from pressing on the gas pedal. Simply what it means is we've got all the tools necessary, all the functions and all the requirements that is required for us in order to become successful, but if we do not press on the gas pedal, the Ferrari will not go anywhere. So you've got a whole brand new Ferrari, okay, with a driver on the driving seat holding the steering wheel, but they're not pressing on the gas pedal. What's gonna happen to the car? It will go nowhere. That is exactly what limiting beliefs leave us with. I've made a video previously in my channel which is called the imposter syndrome, and I spoke about it in so many different videos as well. You can check yourself that according to studies, we all do have limiting beliefs and we all do have imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is simply a syndrome which is also called the silent killer. It keeps us away from taking action and being successful. So we gotta be very careful and conscious of it and consistently kill it through having a track record, through having a list of previous accomplishments that we can say, hey, I'm not gonna listen to your voice. Why? Because I've got a proof, I've got an evidence that is telling me that I used to have you in place, but I did not listen to you and I got the results. I became successful because I went in the opposite direction. So once again, this time I'm not gonna listen to you and I'm just simply gonna take action in order to become successful. Number 3, the vision. This is also a very important aspect inside the inner world that will let you sell anything to anyone. You gotta have an integrated vision, guys, like 5 years from now. It doesn't need to be always money-based, but it will connect the dots for you and keep you moving. It will keep the internal motivation on so you can keep being reminded of when to stop or when you have reached your destination. Aspect number 4 of your inner world: goals. Daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, annual goals, every 5-year goals, every 10-year goals. Now these are the things which are not like vision. These are the things that will help us get to our vision. It's the things which we do not really get emotional with, but we set them in order to accomplish them, that will help us connect the dots to our ultimate vision. The main problem of people is they do not set high goals and miss, but they set very low goals and reach. Nobody likes to stretch, even though they know they can, but by default, we as human beings, we're not really used to stretching ourselves outside our comfort zones unless we started to become more conscious of it and we kept on challenging ourselves in order to see how far we can go. The greatest enemy of great is good. So that being said is why we are complacent. We're like, you know what, as long as I'm eating, living, smelling, eating, tasting and breathing, I don't need to stretch. I don't need to go to the extra mile, you know. I'm good, I'm relaxed, I'm chilled. I'll give you one example. Put your hands up as high as you can, okay? As high as you can. Now put it a little bit higher. What was that all about? I already said in the first place, put your hands high as you can. But you did not do that, right? When I said a little bit higher, then you stretched. At least that's what I did. So that is exactly what I mean by setting goals high enough or not high enough. Aspect number 5 to your inner world: standards. Standards are simply like the thresholds, the benchmarks, the thermostats. What are the things that no matter what happens, we will stay in that range of thermostat? For example, your income, your savings, your body weight. These are the things which is different from each and every one of us, and we all set it in a way that we feel are satisfying, that we feel will serve us the good. So you gotta be very careful of setting your standards. You cannot have standards which are not in direct proportion to your vision, goals, you know, attitude, state, and all these things that we spoke about previously. You gotta have standards that will somehow equal what you have set in your inner world in the first place.